Hey everyone, my name is Rooster, and welcome back to Mechabellum. Today we have another test server game for you guys against Egophobic, who was kind enough to queue up with me on the server. Now, I made a video yesterday about the new Badger starting packs, and in this one I did not get one offered, but Egophobic did, and he is a giant spec, so honestly it's a good example of maybe how to deal with the potential boards that you might face. So it's a Badger marksman start for Egophobic, and I am an aerial specialist with arc lights and steel balls. In this scenario, I did opt to go for a bit more of a mid-rangey game. I'm not the most confident when it comes to this layout. I still kind of have to figure out like where I want my units to be. Usually I will play defensively here and just throw the steel balls all the way in the back, but I wanted to try out something different. And so I'm going to try and put the arc lights kind of at a medium range instead of all the way back at the tower. And then I'm going to try and put my quicker units kind of behind them to trickle through and arrive at around the same time when the arc lights can start engaging. Crawler up front, crawler here behind the tower as well. And hopefully the marksman won't insta-lock. They do, sadly, so maybe the steel ball should have been a bit further forward. That arc light dying is a problem on round 1. As now you can see some crawlers have gotten through, and I don't really have a good way of dealing with them. The other arc light is doing its very best, but it's not able to clear fast enough, and it's bought enough time for those marksmen in the headbutt to get rid of all my units. So I lose round 1. Definitely something that is fixable, though, down the line. As I just have to make sure that my units don't get insta-locked. Round number 2, and we get unit reinforcements here. Void Eyes look kind of good, if I have to be honest. I could go for the Mustang as well, but playing Mustang into Crawler Badger didn't seem that amazing to me. I could go Stormcaller too, but again, I don't like playing Stormcaller that much when the matchup is relatively close. So if it's a short range matchup. So instead I prefer going for Void Eye here, as I felt like it would do a good job against the Badgers, and it might be able to kind of contest the marksman as well, especially in this type of scenario. I add a crawler on the right side to try and prevent this insta-lock on the arc lights. And yeah, I add the Void Eye right behind. So my idea here was to maybe go into Void Eyes a little bit. You will see that my tech bar setup is very heavily carry oriented, where I have range, energy shield, charge shot, and aerial mode. And here I was thinking to myself, should I maybe go for an aerial unit? Because I am aerial specialist, and I would like to maybe try and go for a bit of an aggressive play on the right side. I know there was a Mustang offered, which he did pick, but it's unlikely he would put it on the right side, or at least I'm willing to take that gamble. And, well, we pick up a Wasp. I didn't really want to buy a Phoenix here or something, because I felt like, maybe I would want to go into something like Overlord at some point. And they have a bit of an overlapping role. He already had the marksman anyway, so it's not like I had a chance of cheesing. And, well, looks like the Wasp, does work on the right side, but it gets pulled over as there's one straggling crawler pulling everything across. And this time around, I think my other arc light somehow got insta-locked. I have no idea why that happened. Maybe a new shaft pack got added, but okay. I specifically added a crawler here, because this arc light got insta-locked, and this one didn't, and now that one got insta-locked. So a bunch of problems here in the early game. Yeah, I don't know why this arc light got locked. I mean, I'm pretty sure those crawlers were already there at the start, but, sometimes it is what it is. The Wasp sadly not really working out, and I thought, well, I do have jump drive, so maybe I can, like, move them around and kind of use them as flank clear. But on this round, we get intensive training, which honestly looks kind of useful to me. And I didn't want to spend the 100, to be honest, to jump drive Wasps, because with the Mustang already on the board, it's likely he's going to buy more, which he does. And at that point, like, can I really justify picking this when I only have one Wasp? Better to perhaps sell and utilize the money elsewhere. Egophobic goes for the intensive training as well, by the way. Other cards, not really that amazing. Elite Tarantula, too expensive. And Improved Sandworm, honestly, not the best. So intensive it is. Now, because it was the test server, I actually was running damage sharing on my steel balls. And I was thinking, would it perhaps make sense to try and just link up the steel balls? Because I get 120% bonus HP. His board really didn't have too much DPS for the time being. Of course, an Overlord got added because he's a giant spec. And yeah, here we have Badger boat. Now, it is the boat techs that are the default ones on the test server. But, I mean, it's pretty much the classic kind of jump drive boat techs, apart from photon emission missing. So it should still be quite decent, and I do think that this could work. Although he doesn't have the correct Badger techs either. But he does at least have, I guess, range. And, but it's not the best bar for sure. Right side, Mustangs got added. Over here, we intensive training steel balls. And I don't have any anti-air, so I will lose to the Overlord. But I didn't think he would buy it this turn because he already had Mustang and he already had Marksman. So I was willing to kind of take that risk, and well, looks like it doesn't pay off. So my steel balls, sadly, are going to end up dying. I might give away a level as well to the Overlord here, so I just hope that we're not going to be seeing an enhancement module on round 4. That would be disastrous. As long as that doesn't happen, I think we can still stabilize, although it has been a bit of a rocky beginning of the game. Just going to speed things up here a little bit as we just wait for the Overlord to clear all of the steel balls, and it will get enough experience to level. So now we have to think about how on earth we want to kill this. And usually I would go for something like a Farseer or a Marksman, but I saw Efficient Light Manufacturing, and I also knew that I had aerial mode on my Void Eyes, and so I was like, is there ever a world where we can try to carry Void Eye here? I don't think it's the worst into Overlord. It's definitely not amazing, and it doesn't have, you know, that aerial target prioritization that Marksman and Farseer can have. But still, it doesn't seem like that bad to me. Egophobic goes for the Wasp Swarm here, and I go for the Efficient Light. Now, it is quite an expensive card to take this early on, and I also wanted to get aerial mode because else I can't hit the enemy Overlord. And I buy more Void Eyes. Now, this does mean that I kind of just completely miss the fact that there was a Wasp Swarm offered. I thought he would pick maybe some of the other cards, but yeah, I completely forget to deal with this. I actually did have the money to deal with it, although, well, I could have put down like 2 missiles in the back, but I'd take the steel ball level instead for some extra tankiness. And so, yeah, this is gonna be a disaster for sure. Mustangs got leveled on the right side. Another Badger got added. Range clicked on them. And the boat for now remains unleveled. But yeah, that's not really going to be too much of a problem for Egophobic when he gets a debuff, double debuff this round. And yeah, my units are suffering here. Chaff Clear obviously not doing its job. And the Void Eyes won't be able to lock on to any of the tankier units. And I'm gonna take a boatload of damage on round 4, sending me straight down to 1500 as we enter the mid-game. So really, things did not go well here for me in the early game. And I'm hoping that I can stabilize at this point, but yeah, bit rough. Starting position not working out, missing a spell not working out, misreading that an air unit was going to get bought and not having any anti-air. Just a little bit rough overall. But hopefully, we've gone through the worst of it. And I pick up the cheap mobile beacon there from the cards. Egophobic could have also gone for the super supply if he wanted because of how healthy he is. I do think that round 4 or 5 is kind of the only rounds that you can pick that card. Because after that, it's diminishing returns. And, you know, you would have to wait until quite late into the game before you would actually get the benefit of those cards. But it could have been possible here. But he takes the cheap mobile beacon as well. And now I range my Void Eyes to make sure that they stay safe. And I go for another steel ball on the right side and try to beacon things towards that tower. Because I could see that for now, there wasn't anything there that could deal with the level 2 linked steel ball. You really need an Overlord to be able to deal with that. Instead, it is going to be Mothership clicked on the lone Overlord. Not an amazing pickup, but if he goes for more Overlords, it'll eventually be quite useful. Wasps, especially with shields, will be annoying for my Void Eyes to deal with, but luckily I have quite a few of them. And now we're just going to have to see, can I break through? I mean, my chaff clear just not amazing, but we eventually do manage to break through. And a steel ball has now decided that it will go towards the tower. Hopefully it can get the debuff whilst some of my Void Eyes are still alive. And even though the second rotation of Wasps got spawned, it looks like I will be able to take the round. So perhaps here a little shimmer of hope and a way back into the game. As the Void Eyes are picking up some levels, I've stopped taking damage, importantly, and I'm still leaving myself a little bit of wiggle room. Like, maybe I can still lose a round here without losing the entire game. Round number 6, Efficient Giant Manufacturing shows up, which is what Egophobic's going to pick up. And I will go for the additional deployment slot. Bit of a high roll there for me, I would say. Very, very good card with Efficient Light Manufacturing, because obviously it allows you to get even more value out of that card even quicker. Efficient Giant is alright. I mean, it's good for Giant spec, but it's quite difficult to spam a whole bunch of Overlords, and he still has to buy 2 new Overlords to make profit with that card. Buys 2 Overlords, so there will be more Wasps to deal with. I decided to pick up the Sticky Oil Bomb because I knew that my chaff clear wasn't amazing, and I wanted to kind of get by with the turn where I let him set the oil on fire, and then hopefully I can fix my chaff clear problems later on, if need be. We do armor the Arclights in this case. I think it's quite a good tech to run, especially with how many Fire Badgers there currently are, and there likely will be on the new patch. And again, we're going to go for this mobile beacon to threaten that tower. Nothing got added over there, though. I mean, this boat might be able to intercept or follow them, but there definitely probably should have been an Overlord behind this to try and deal with this potential beacon. Because it worked really well for me last round as I got a useful debuff. Goes for a missile, which will probably hit some crawlers, but maybe also slow down my steel balls. And I just pick up more levels on the Void Eyes where I can. Let's see, how is this going to be playing out? I did go for an Arclight on the flank as well. I believe I elite recruited, yeah. So I went for some elite recruited Arclights with armor and maybe a couple elite recruited Void Eyes as well. And honestly, the chaff gear is looking a lot better, but you can see that beacon just goes straight through to his tower. I get the debuff, and now the Void Eyes are starting to do some monstrous amounts of damage. They did also add a new variant into the game for Void Eyes, improved Void Eye, but I haven't been able to find it yet, as it can only show up if neither player has Void Eyes on the board, which can be quite tricky considering it is a starting unit, of course. But this game, we're doing just fine with the regular Void Eyes. Round number 7. Some unit reinforcements show up. And here I'm thinking, should I go for Typhoons? Because I still had a Wasp problem to solve as more and more boats were getting picked up. And even though I'm not the biggest fan of Typhoon in these type of semi-defensive situations, I thought maybe I can make it work. I mean, the barrier tech is going to be useful either way to kind of protect my units. And if I click aerial specialization, surely I'll be able to just catch all of the Wasps as they move in. And, well, that's what we go for. Try and make use of the unit drop. Egophobic goes for the Scorpions, which should be pretty useful as well if he decides to invest into them. As, well, he's up against Typhoons and Steel Balls now. And he goes for a very aggressive play on the right side here. Double boat on the line. Chin gun has been picked up as well, and he tries to beacon it in. Now, thankfully, I did add one Typhoon here, but there's not a lot of chaff in the way, and we'll have to see if we can actually stave this off for long enough. Again, I'm going to go for this beacon as it's been working, and again, it seems like that diagonal is somewhat open. Another missile gets added, a Scorpion here to deal with the flank. I do add a crawler in the way, though, so we should be able to stall for a little bit longer and make sure that there's not an amazing amount of coordination between this Mustang and these newly added boats. Thankfully, I do add a crawler here on the right side of my Arclight, thinking that maybe he would try something on that guy since he was isolated last round. Looks like I was somewhat correct at least, and it stalls the boats for a decent amount of time. The AA Typhoons not doing a insignificant amount of damage, managing to take out the boat there, and the late Fangs arriving actually keep stalling that boat for long enough. Now, the Scorpion alive, shooting at the steel balls, but linked steel balls are very, very tanky. And there's a level 4 amongst them with 40k per steel ball, which is just going to be too much for that Scorpion to deal with. So right side victorious, takes the tower yet again, and left side able to win thanks to that debuff again. So now we've basically equalized things as we enter round number 8, and we're kind of into this late game. Another efficient giant manufacturing shows up, but it's probably too late here for Egophobic to make use of it. And honestly, when you see the red spells this late in the game, you're often kind of just forced to pick them. They're very, very powerful. And, well, yeah, we just go for them. And as you can see, same thing for Egophobic. We'll line them up on that left side. I will again like to go for a beacon here to try and kind of get my units out of the way. Barriers do get picked up to try and block as much of the ion beam as possible. Sadly, my Void Eyes are not going to be able to benefit from that. So I will likely lose a lot of my anti-air, but hopefully enough will stay alive to at least prevent me from dying. I go for an ion beam myself as well on the left side of the board because that's where I expected him to use it, and it's where the most material is residing. Now, one thing I wasn't sure of is whether he would jump drive. It's always kind of the gamble, right? When someone has a tech bar like this, are they going to jump drive or are they going to call the bluff? So either I could use the ion beam on the right, which is would have been better, as jump drive indeed gets clicked and all of the boats are suddenly on the right side of the board. Or do I just use it on the left side and hope that the boats remain and he doesn't click it, right? We do go for some missiles in the back as Wasp Swarm is available, and I really can't afford to get debuffed here, but maybe we will with all of these boats moving in. Another crawler got added as I'm trying to stall as long as possible. And, I mean, let's see. Hopefully the left side, some Void Eyes can survive, and then maybe we can clean up, but... Ooh, I'm not feeling too great about this. Ion Beam, very nice. We'll kill a couple of Void Eyes, but somehow the high-level ones manage to survive with 10k hit points a pop. Typhoon is trying to do its very best as it does lock on. Some of the Typhoons coming from the middle manage to kill the boats and distract them for long enough so my tower doesn't go down until very late into the round. And at that point, I've managed to push in on the left side as well. So it looks like either way here, I'll at least be able to survive. I don't think I'll be able to live, as the Scorpions will make quick work of the remainder of the steel balls, and whilst there are some Void Eyes cleaning up right now, I don't think they're going to be enough to take out this level 2 Overlord, and indeed they won't be. So round number 8, I take some damage, but thankfully it's not lethal, and I think we're still in an okay spot because... well, not guessing correctly where the enemy units were going to be and losing a bunch of my own units to the Ion Beam definitely didn't favor me there. Round number 9, bunch of unit drops show up again. And I was thinking, well, do I want to take it or I want to sell? The Farseers looked kind of fine. I get triple deployments. I could go for something like Photon Emission, which would help out with the tankiness of, well, all of these steel balls as well. And Farseer itself is not the worst at clearing, you know, a couple of Wasp packs here and there and helping out with the anti-air. So that's what I end up going for. Egophobic picks up the Rhinos. I thought he might go for that, but I wasn't too afraid because I know I have steel balls, so I should be fine. Maybe I need to pick up a steel ball somewhere over here on the right side because that's just where I'm most vulnerable, and right now that's where all the boats reside. And I don't think he's going to be jump driving back because this is the main part of my army. It's hard to deal with, and he could just keep stacking over here and try to push in as fast as possible. So, again, we're going to go for that diagonal beacon. I do pick up Photon Emission on my Farseers. And I indeed go for a steel ball on the right side. Intensive training to make it level 2. Reload, temp range, temp speed. And maybe I should level up this tower a bunch. But I'm running out of money pretty quickly here. More crawlers getting picked up. Oil going to be used for Egophobic. Good move on the left side. And more boats being added. Grand total of 6 boats now. I do level the tower at least once. And a good missile to slow down that Rhino. I was just hoping to hit some crawlers or to hit the boats and slow them down. But I'll take this. The Rhino on the flank dies to the newly added steel balls. The Typhoons are doing their very best. The Fangs tanking for them. As the Chin Guns are trying to get close to my tower, but for now they're not managing to. Farseers will die, but it looks like we've managed to stave off the attack. It's not managed to break through. There's no debuff here for my opponent, and meanwhile the left side still winning, even though there's fire. All of my tanky units do survive, and my Void Eyes are able to clean up the mess. Looks like with the amount of material that we have left, we should be able to win this. So, a very tricky game, but we managed to survive. Not an amazing start for me. I do take a lot of damage there because of, yeah, just my starting position not being ideal. And, well, we missed a spell, which also cost us, but eventually we managed to stabilize. Void Eyes really can be very scary damage-dealing units. I think especially they shine in these type of shorter range scenarios. And, well, I mean, they can take down boats. Although I will say the Typhoons did a good job as well. Taking the unit drop here and clicking AA honestly kind of surprised me with how well they did. And, yeah, we don't get overwhelmed by the Badger boat combination. If you liked this video, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought about it. And, again, give me your thoughts on the patch notes that have been made available. If you want to stay up to date with my latest content, please consider subscribing. And if you want to see me play live, check me out on Twitch. With that being said, take care, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.